difference between this song and the last song, so I want to just kind of mention a few points that are somewhat important for your understanding of this song. 1. During the last song, Lucy actually set up a meeting between Kendra and Evan so that Kendra can thank Evan for allowing Kendra and Brett to get back together. Of course, the audience knows that this is, in fact, not a kind gesture, but unfortunately Kendra and Evan are unaware of this. 2. At the end of the last song, as you heard in the last video, Lucy reveals to Brett that she has seen Kendra and Evan together, because of course, she's the one who set up the meeting. 3. Brett discovers Kendra and Evan just as they are hugging, though it should be noted this is not a loving hug, this is in fact a very awkward thank you hug. 4. Brett confronts Evan about Evan's supposed relationship with Kendra and reveals that he was never actually planning on showing up to Evan's bar mitzvah. 5. Evan finally realizes, maybe not realizes, but so much acknowledges the fact that Brett is in fact a jerk and confronts him about it. 6. Brett punches Evan in the face. 7. Kendra almost shows growth as she almost stitches Brett in the popular gang, but ultimately decides to run after them apologizing. 8. Archie and Patrice, who have been there for this entire confrontation, go in to comfort Evan. 9. Evan decides to completely abandon his bar mitzvah because everything has gone horribly wrong. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's quite a lot of background going into this song, but it is all important things to note because it does all eventually lead to this particular song. So, as I mentioned, Evan has decided to just abandon his bar mitzvah altogether. Nothing has gone right, everything has gone wrong, so he might as well just completely forget about having his bar mitzvah and just end it there. And so Archie responds by beginning this song. Now, the first portion of this song is wonderful because it's Archie at his best. One of the reasons that I absolutely love Archie is because he's just so sarcastic. He's incredibly strong-willed, and with that strong-willed nature does come that brand of sarcasm. And the beginning of this song is a perfect example of that, and what I really love about it is that he's not using his sarcasm in a mean or manipulative way. He's using it in a very kind, very caring way to gently bop Evan upside the head and remind him that he is not the worse off of the trio who are currently there. He basically says, you know, you're right. Everything's gone wrong because you planned all of this whole thing and now it's just come crashing down and you should just give up. No, I understand. No, I get it. And remember, Archie has muscular dystrophy. He has a debilitating disease and he has a brighter outlook on life than Evan does at the moment. And then Archie reveals his own personal philosophy, which is another reason why I love this character so much. His philosophy is basically just that it's his life, and he's running it, he makes up his own rules, and if things happen to go wrong, well, maybe he's just going to incorporate it into whatever he's doing with his life in the moment. As he says, if I hit the wall, maybe that's all just part of the plan. And I love this philosophy because it's that whole idea that no matter what happens, he's still going to lead his life. And it's something that Evan really needed to hear. And then Patrice chimes in and basically says, right now, it looks really bad. Everything is going wrong in your life, but it's not going to stay that way. It's going to get better, and you're going to get past this point in your life. And with these two people gently saying these things to him, Evan finally understands what it means to grow up. He understands what it means to be a man, and it's not taking control of your life and making everything go perfectly. Life isn't perfect. Nothing is perfect. And that's basically what being a man is all about. It's acknowledging that life isn't perfect and not everything is going to go the way that you want it to, but continuing to live your life anyway. And I just love that about this because it doesn't try to say that life is perfect. Things don't go the way Evan wants them to. If this were a teenage sitcom, the popular kids would realize, oh, we were wrong, Evan's right, these two people are awesome, let's go to his bar mitzvah and have a good time. But that's not what happens in actual life. And it's just refreshing to see this musical acknowledge the fact that life isn't perfect and things aren't going to go your way, but that doesn't mean you need to give up. And I'll talk a little bit more about this in next week's song because it addresses it a bit more, but it's just really nice to see that growth in Evan. And, oh yeah, Evan and Patrice kiss and they like it, but yeah. And while I am kind of dismissing that in a somewhat amusing manner, that is another thing that I like about this musical. It doesn't focus on the romance. I won't deny that there is still romance between Patrice and Evan, and there's that indication that they do end up together by the end of the musical, but it's not the focus. This musical was not written for the sole purpose of watching Evan and Patrice get together. The musical was written for the sole purpose of showing Evan's growth and showing that life isn't perfect, but that there are good things in it. So Evan's plan doesn't quite go the way he wants it to, but it's not all bad. And ultimately, though life may not be the way you want it to, even if things are going horribly wrong, all you have to do is just put one foot in front of the other and just keep walking on. And that's all for this week's song. Tune in next week for next week's song. See you then.
And just keep walking on.